Okay, bros. We are here for your weekly NXT Fix, featuring the ever so popular bro ratings. Now, here's your host. Okay, bros. I'm your host, Jimmy the Gibson, and we're here for another episode of your weekly NXT Fix. NXT is really heating up en route to TakeOver 36, coming up the day after SummerSlam, Sunday, August 22nd. So we kick off this week with the women's division. It is Dakota Kai versus Sarray in singles competition. Now, Dakota Kai has a date with the NXT Women's Champion, Raquel Gonzalez, coming up at TakeOver. And what a solid match between Dakota and Sarray. Dakota hitting all her signature kicks, jump kicks, pump kicks. Sarray hits that signature drop kick, putting Dakota's face through the ropes. But in the end, it was Dakota Kai with the with the haluva kick in the corner, the running kick, the running boot. 1, 2, 3. After the match, Raquel Gonzalez stormed ringside and chased Dakota right out of the arena. So, big grudge match set for TakeOver. But Dakota and Sarray, fantastic match. Now, I believe this is Sarray's first loss in NXT, but Dakota Kai is a top competitor in the women's division. So, bros, we're going to give that opening contest an 8.1 on the bro ratings. Moving on. Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis's first date. Well, Johnny and Dexter stare down each other as Dexter comes to their house to pick up Indy. Candice asked Indy if she had protection. Indy said, "Of course I know how to protect myself." And Johnny says, "Hey, make sure she's home by 10 p.m., no later." They leave. Johnny tells Candice, "Don't worry, I have tracking on her phone." So we know there's going to be some hijinks involved here. Hit Row comes on screen and says, "You know what? Legado del Fantasma, they disrespected Swerve, they disrespected Hit Row, and they disrespected our culture by taking his grill." Up next, in-ring contest, none other than Ilja Dragunov from NXT UK, the NXT UK challenger for this upcoming TakeOver against Walter. Dragunov says, "You will witness chaos, you will witness rage, and you will see an unbeatable empire fall." Well, that brings out Pete Dunne and says, "Ilja, what are you talking about? There wouldn't be any NXT UK if it wasn't for me. So how about me and you fight?" And the match is made for later on tonight in the main event, Pete Dunne versus Ilja Dragunov. Decent in-ring segment. It was good to introduce the NXT universe to Ilja Dragunov. But if you already watched NXT UK, this was a completely pointless in-ring interview. Completely pointless. They could have bumped into each other backstage. Boom, there's a match. Ilja Dragunov versus Pete Dunne. So overall, kind of unnecessary. But if you've never watched NXT UK, now you know who Ilja Dragunov is. So with that being said, bros, we're going to give this one a 7.0 on the bro ratings. Moving on. Mackenzie Mitchell asks L.A. Knight why he left his tag team partner behind last week. Well, L.A. Knight says he's destined to be a butler, and he's a damn good one. So going into our next matchup, it was L.A. Knight versus Andre Chase from the Breakout tournament. See, they're using some people from this Breakout tournament even after a loss in the first round. I like that. Some more exposure for these guys. Well, it was very simply LA Knight just dominated him in this match. Kind of a squash match, if you will. He hit his cutter for the win. 1, 2, 3. And after the match, who comes down but none other than the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And he said, Cameron, you're better than this. Cameron Grimes out there with LA Knight. You're better than this. You deserve another shot at the $1 Million Championship. LA Knight says, well, you know what? I'll give Cameron Grimes another shot at the $1 Million Championship at this upcoming takeover with one stipulation. That if he loses, he's no longer my butler. But you are, Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase will be LA Knight's butler if Cameron Grimes loses this match at TakeOver. So, big stipulation on the line. With that being said, LA Knight versus Andre Chase, we're going to give that one a 6.8 on the bro ratings. Moving on. Gigi Dolin. Vignette backstage about the women's division. She says, I'm never satisfied. It's not just a job. It's about running through all of the top women in the division. And I'm not alone. So, what does that mean? Well, our next in-ring match was the aforementioned Gigi Dolin versus Amari Miller. No idea who that is. But Gigi Dolin was accompanied to the ring by JC Jane. And this was a pretty solid match. Gigi Dolin looked great. I think she could be an up-and-coming top competitor in the NXT's women's division. Gigi Dolin gets the win, hits her finishing move. Not sure what it's called yet, but gets the 1, 2, 3, defeats Amari Miller, and pretty decent job establishing an up-and-coming competitor. Not a great match by any means. So, with that being said, bros, we're going to give that one a 7.2 on the bro ratings. Moving on, we have Indy and Dexter shown again, and they're at a nice Italian restaurant. Indy hears Johnny and Candace talking on the walkie-talkie. Indy walks over. Candace says the cover's blown. And then Indy proceeds to order many appetizers. Craziness on this first date. But now it's time for your 1-minute figure review. Check this out. Okay, bros, this is the figure we're going to be showing off today. It is the NXT TakeOver Shinsuke Nakamura. Check this bad boy out. This is maybe not even NXT gear. This may be gear that he wore in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But nonetheless, it could be from a debut. Comes with his ever so popular entrance jacket and an armband there. Shinsuke Nakamura, former NXT champion, made his NXT debut. Right there, it says January 4th, 2016. Shinsuke Nakamura, NXT TakeOver Elite figure. Now, back to me. And we're back! NXT action continues this week with a very important face-to-face. It is none other than Adam Cole, baby! Face-to-face with Kyle O'Reilly and the general manager, William Regal. So, big announcement is made at this upcoming TakeOver 36. The first fall will be Kyle O'Reilly chooses a straight-up wrestling match. The second fall will be Adam Cole chooses a street fight. And you know what? Adam Cole, baby, says, I'm going to beat you 2-0 and be the guy that ends the Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly saga. Then a brawl ensues. They get pulled apart by security, and General Manager William Regal says, if there is a third and decisive fall, it will be a steel cage match. So there you have it, bros. TakeOver 36. Another major matchup announced right there. So, with that being said, bros, we're going to give this in-ring segment a 7.5 on the bro ratings. Moving on, we have Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher want a piece of Ridge Holland. Well, Tommaso Ciampa says, then hell boy, let's party. And he says, it's gonna be, Timothy Thatcher interrupts, he says, please sir, with all due respect, Ridge Holland versus Timothy Thatcher. Class is now in session. So there you have it, upcoming match. Speaking of upcoming matches, we have the second round semifinals in the NXT Breakout tournament. It is the big man, Odyssey Jones, versus Trey Baxter. And this was your classic David versus Goliath. Trey Baxter working over legs, trying to knock the big man down. Odyssey Jones just was proving he was too much power for Trey Baxter. And Odyssey Jones hit, it was like the boss man slam into a rock bottom. 1, 2, 3. Odyssey Jones, at the end of the match, he says, look, mama, I made it, baby. A lot of charisma from the big man, Odyssey Jones. He is moving into the finals of the NXT Breakout tournament. But Trey Baxter, keep an eye out for him. Fantastic up-and-comer in NXT. So with that being said, bros, we're going to give this match a 7.8 on the bro ratings. Moving on. Mr. Regal says next week is going to be a huge week on NXT. Tag team and cruiserweight championships will be on the line. Our next in-ring match will be Drake Maverick versus Boa of Tian Sha. And Boa accompanied by Mei Ying. Decent match between the two. Boa looked more aggressive than he's ever looked before in ring. But when Drake Maverick was on the outside, Mei Ying spit a foreign mist in his face, and Boa knocked him out with a kick. 1, 2, 3. My guess is Xia Li is injured, so they need to keep Tian Sha going with Boa. Just wasn't that great of a matchup between he and Drake Maverick. With that being said, bros, we're going to give this one a 7.3 on the bro ratings. Very generous. Moving on. Indy Hartwell, still on the date with Dexter Lumis, and says, I always have room for dessert. Well, new waiter comes over, and it's Jean-Paul. Comes over with a cake. Hey, it's your waiter, Jean-Paul, with a cake. And Indy takes off his wig, pulls off his mustache to reveal it was Johnny Gargano all along. There was no Jean-Paul the waiter. It really had me going. And then, obviously, the cake gets smashed into Dexter Lumis's face, and Johnny leaves the restaurant. And we have a fantastic prime target. Cross versus Joe for the NXT Championship TakeOver 36. And next week, there will be a face-to-face. And that leads us to our main event of the evening. It is the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne versus Ilja Dragunov. And this was a brutal, hard-hitting match. Fantastic main event for NXT. Pete Dunne is awesome. Ilja Dragunov is fantastic. If you've never seen him on NXT UK, make sure you watch this. Catch you up to speed before he faces Walter. The guy's amazing. So you have two top talents putting on a great matchup. And it was none other than Walter, the NXT UK champion, comes out, distracts Ilja Dragunov. Pete Dunne hits him with the bitter end. 1, 2, 3. Pete Dunne is your winner. And after the match, Walter gets in the ring, and he is just slapping him, chopping him, slapping him across the face, and just leaves Ilja Dragunov lying. So we have a big setup for a big-time title match. With that being said, bros, Pete Dunne versus Ilja Dragunov. We're going to give this one a 8.4 on the bro ratings. Moving on. So that means that was your match of the night, Pete Dunne versus Ilja Dragunov. We had 8 matches or in-ring segments. A little too much to my liking, giving us an average of 7.51. Pretty decent episode of NXT. You could tell they're starting to change things up. There's rumor going around. New lighting, new format, focus on younger guys, less guys starting NXT in their 30s, building superstars of the future. So a little change in NXT is coming. That's the rumor going around. We'll see if that holds up. But now, it's time for some world-famous predictions. Next week. Next week on NXT, we're going to see Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe face to face. And this is going to finally cause the physical confrontation we're all waiting for. But I do believe it will get pulled apart before one person locks in their famed sleeper hold submissions, whether it be the coquina clutch or the cross jacket. And we have 2 title matches coming up next week. 2 big main matches. It is going to be MSK will still be your NXT Tag Team Champions after they defeat Imperium. And then your Cruiserweight Championship, your winner, and new NXT Cruiserweight Champion Roderick Strong will defeat Kushida. And I think that's going to be a classic matchup. So there you have it, bros. Until next time, I'm going to go put a sock in it. I'm your host, Jimmy the Gibson. Please like this video. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel. And comment below. We love your comments, even if they're about Brimstone. But truthfully, if you know Brimstone, put him in contact with me. Let's get him on the show. We need more Brimstone if that's what the fans want. Until next time. NXT next week will include predictions for TakeOver 36.